Hey, what up guys, it's Clinton Lofthouse here, back with another YouTube tutorial, and if you can tell by the clarity of my voice, I have a new microphone because everyone was whinging about the sound of the quality of the sound. So, without further ado, and my new microphone, let's get into the tutorial. So this week I will be focusing on getting that painterly feel with dodge and burn. So there are many ways to use dodge and burn. I used to use it in sometimes three different ways on one image. There's ways you can use it to pull out detail in images, you can use it for contrast, you can use it for retouching, obviously, skin retouching. You can use it as a tool to guide the viewer's eye through the image by darkening a patch of the image on one side and darkening certain things on the outside so the eye stays in the center. But today what we will be focusing on is getting the painterly feel. So this image here on the screen is an image I did with Shelley Di Inferno a long time ago now. Well, I'll say a long time, maybe 4 years ago. So this is the final image. So this here, as you can see from her face, there's been dodge and burn on the face. Pulled out the tones in the hair a little bit, the arm, on this arm, and then I've darkened the bottom and just added a little bit of dodge and burn here and on the ribs. So again, art is subjective. Some people do not like this style. I tend to love this style because I was raised on comic books and graphic novels, so all the images were striking and bold. And when I turn this off and on, you can see the difference that it makes, and obviously there's a blue colour tone on the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you how to dodge and burn to get this kind of painterly feel here on the model. So again, just like there's many ways to use dodge and burn, there's many techniques of dodge and burn. So there's the soft light approach, which for me is a last resort because it is very strong and it doesn't look as realistic, although it is very good for getting a cartoon feel. You have the grey 50% grey version, where you fill a layer with 50% grey and then use the dodge and burn tool on top. But for me, I always use curves adjustment dodge and burn. So what I will do is I will walk you through how to create a dodge and burn adjustment curves with curves, and then we will get straight into dodging and burning the image. So let me just turn that off. So to create your curves dodge and burn adjustment, what you want to do is go up to curves in the adjustment panels up here, and you want to click in the center of this line here and pull it up sort of somewhere up here. So it's about 1.5 squares up. Then you want to Control I to invert the layer mask so the adjustment you've just made disappears. And you then want to call this dodge. Then you want to go to the curves adjustments panel again up the top and click another curves adjustment, and this time click in the center again, and this time pulled down about 1.5 squares. Again, you want to press Control I, oops, sorry, butterfingers, Control I, and that will then hide the adjustment on the image what we have just made. And we want to rename this one burn. So you can probably guess where this is going. So what we want to do now is we want to select both the dodge and burn. We want to right click, go to group from layers, and we want to call this dodge and burn. So what we've got now is a dodge and burn group. So any effects when we do on these layer masks, we can turn it off and on as a whole so we can see the effects. So what we want to do now is you want to click on your dodge layer mask. You need to select your brush by pressing B, and then you want to press X to make sure your white is selected, and then we want to go up and you want to set your flow to around about 11%. So this is what I usually use, and again this is down to you. 11% is something I've just used for a long time and what I've got used to, but you can have it as strong or as weak as you like. So what we are going to do now is we are going to paint our dodge onto the layer mask. So because we're using adjustment layers and layer masks, everything we do is non-destructive. So you can go in later, you can change things, you can lower opacity. It's very good for adjustments. So if you press Ctrl plus, we're going to zoom into image now, and I always start on the face. Again, this is just how I like to do it. Some people maybe like to start on the hair, I don't know. But for today, we are going to start on the face. So when I first started learning dodge and burn, I was researching a little bit into it and watching other people, how they do it. And one of the things what helped me, especially for the face, or mainly for the face actually, was one of these. So this is a makeup guide on how to apply makeup to the face. It's for contouring, and this is kind of similar to what we will be doing with dodge and burn. We're going to be contouring certain areas. So if you look at this makeup example here, you've got the darker makeup on under the cheekbone here, where it kind of makes it look like it seeds in. You've got the white here for the curve of the forehead, and this area here, all I usually kind of put dodge this area. So if you look at this mask, it looks like you could say these are the dodge and burn areas on the face. So I kind of used this as a guide in the beginning, just to kind of show me where I needed to dodge and burn. So if we now go and try and apply that to Shelley's face, what we will be doing is we will be dodging here a little bit, and then we would dodge here, and then we would burn here again, and then on the chin we would dodge. So if you're starting out, it's good to keep one of those makeup guides just to use as a reference. So let's go in and start dodging. So I always start with the eyes, so with the face, but specifically with the eyes. So I'm going to go in here, and then it's going to burn, dodge the light areas what are already there. So it's kind of like tracing, so all you're going to be doing is dodging the light areas and burning the dark areas and adding some more contrast. So some people mix between dodge and burn. What I do is I will do it in sections, so I will dodge one section, so the face, and then I'll go in and then burn all one section, the face, and then I will then maybe move to the hair, do all the dodging in one go, switch to burn, do all the burning, and then I will move it in sections. It's just easier to do it that way, and you can keep a track of what you've done. So there we've dodged the eye here a little bit. So let's go and dodge the other one. It's inside. I'm gonna do this a little bit quicker than I normally would. Again, you can spend as much time or as little time as you want on dodge and burn. I like to spend quite a lot of time on it, but for the sake of this tutorial, we don't want it to drag on too long. I'm just going to kind of whip through it. So now I'm going to dodge the contour of the eye there, some kind of light here. Let's go over to this side. So again, just going over, you're basically creating form. So if you looked at a 3D cylinder, where the form of the cylinder kind of protrudes, there would be a highlight, because there's always a highlight on the curve, so the highlight would go down the center a little bit, and then as the curve fades off to the back, it would go darker on the sides, and that's basically what we're doing here. We are creating form. So let's zoom out a little bit. So we've kind of got some there, and again, you can always, if it's too strong, you can always lower the opacity later, but it's good to do it, maybe do it a little bit stronger and then lower it later. So here, so I'm just going to do a little bit of dodging here. It's quite strong highlights on the nose, but we can sort that later. Again, just dodging here, here, there. Zoom in and just get this nose ring here, just a little bit there. There's a little bit of reflected light, see it under this nostril here. There we go. And we'll just do this little bit here. Now moving on to lips. Lips is an area which I quite enjoy doing as well, because you've got a mixture of dodge and burn, but you can really make the lips stand out. what you really want to do is there's usually a piece here where we need to dodge, because that's where the skin protrudes out, and then there's usually this kind of center line here. Again, we can refine all this layer, and then you've got this highlight here, and you've got some kind of highlight there, you've got some highlights on the teeth. So we're just going to go across, and then you kind of again line here. Let's zoom out with Control minus. Shelley's actually got really good skin, so I would have normally gone through and maybe cleaned up for some dodge and burn as well, but there's no need to on here. So let's have a look. See, it's looking a little bit too strong here, so I can go in. I can just press X to switch to black, sorry, and then just paint off the lip here. To be fair, there's not a lot of dodging I need to do on this, so what we will do is we'll switch to burn now. Again, make sure your brush is on white, and I'll come in and start burning again. I always start with the eyes. So we're just going to go over the dark areas. You want to make sure you're always switching the size of your brush as well. You don't want to just use one brush size, you want to try and match the area of the size that you're using. So I think, to be fair, it's usually with the burn tool, it's usually where you get the kind of painterly feel from, because you're adding contrast to the lines that are already there, which make them a little unnatural, kind of maybe comic book like or painting like. That's exactly what I like. So we can go over the darks like that already, what are already there. As you can see, there's the line here. Let's just darken this makeup. And sometimes when you're actually in the process of dodging burning, it's hard to see what you're actually doing. It might look like you're not really doing much, but then when you turn it off and on, you can see for sure. Got these little red bits in the eye here. Darken there. Switch over to this eye. As you can see, this is quite a slow process. There's probably purists out there who are going about dodge and burn and I don't like dodge and burn and this effect it gives, and you know, those kind of people. Probably the ones who say that the images come straight out of camera without any editing. But dodge and burn is actually a technique what they use in the darkroom. So people like Ansel Adams will have dodged and burned their images. They'll have just done it with film and in a more practical way than we are doing it in Photoshop. Actually did a little bit in college. Much prefer this way. So we've done the eyes. Now we're going to just go on darken around here where the shadow is already, under here, and just around the face here. You want to darken the hair there as well. Got some shadow here. Now basically, again, just like we did with dodge, we just burn in the areas what already have darkness on. So here, I'm going to add quite a little bit on the cheek. Down. Did we miss the chin with dodge? Maybe we did. I'll just add a little bit of dodge there. Go back to burn. Now I'm going to give some shape to the lip by burning around there, under this piece here. Again, just a little bit like tracing, just going over the dark areas that were already dark. See, there's a line here, shadow on there. can darken all this area here. But sometimes what it might do as well is boost the saturation in the colour, but we can always pull that back out later. You can, as well, if you've got enough time, go in and see all these little dark crevices, you can do that, but we won't do that today as it takes quite a long time. So let's just go on back and get this top of this lip here. We don't want this teeth to stand out too much. And then let's just down here. So it probably looks like we've done nothing, but if you turn the dodge and burn group off and on, you can see we've really starting to define that face. And again, it all depends on you how far you want to go. So I'm going to speed up a little bit now, just because we don't want this tutorial to last forever. So click on the dodge. What I'm going to do now is just, again, going and dodging the areas up here where it protrudes out. There's a highlight there. If I didn't notice a part of the mask sticks out here, there'd be a highlight. And let's just dodge down here. I'll switch to burn. I'm going to try and quickly get through this now. So under the mask here, around here, there's a darkness part here, all around this part where the mask kind of sinks in. See where it sinks in here as well. Let's go back to dodge. Got a nice area here. Right, now we're going to go into the hair, and it's pretty much the same principle. Just want to dodge the highlights. You can really get some creative with the hair though sometimes, and really pull out the highlights in the hair, but you kind of want it to do the same thing. See, it's usually, this highlight is usually on the curve where the hair curves around here like that. So we're going down. But you can also put some nice coloured streaks in the hair if you want. So I'm just going to quickly go through this curve there. Go to the back and get some kind of hair. Pull out some detail in the colour here. Curve there at the back. And yeah, it's going down there. So as you can see, just pulling out the streaks in the hair a little bit, where the highlights are hitting the curves. Right, let's go in and burn some of this hair now. So now you want to burn the darker areas where the hair sinks in. Again, you can spend as long as you want on this, or as little time as you want. For the hair here, it's got to burn. So as you can see, the light kind of falls off a little bit here, so you can burn a little bit more globally over the hair. Here you want it to be darker anyway, so the face stands out against the dark of the hair here. So now we want to move on. I'm going to move on to this arm here. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to go dodge. Again, where the curve of the finger comes round, I'm just going to dodge. As you can see, it's already kind of highlighted there, here. There's a highlight here. Down here. Let's zoom in a little bit, Control plus. So we've got a little bit highlight there on the nail. As you can see, this is a quite a long process, but it's also quite cathartic. There's nothing better than sometimes just putting some music on and getting stuck in with some dodge and burn. So you've got highlight here, got a bit of a highlight where the curve of the hand is there. So now again we switch into burn, and we just focus on burning these areas here. Again, only burning where it's already dark, so you create contrast, but you can get some real form to the fingers by doing this. You can also pull out the details of the knuckles, like the creases in the knuckle. Give this one some form. Again, we can always, this is always adjustable afterwards, so if you do go overboard. You are always able to adjust it after, so let's get some. You can see all the dirt on this plaster here. Let's get that under here. And dodge and burn is really good for depth and making things look 3D and giving it shape. So just make sure you play around with it. So dodge. Switching back to dodge now, just seeing some kind of highlight here. Switching back to burn. I know I said I don't usually do that, but I'm just trying to rush through this now because I am a little bit wary of time. So pull out the wrinkles here. That's right. And one line there. Let's zoom out now, Control minus. See, it's a little bit strong on this finger here, so I can always go in and see the dodge looking strong. Just put my brush to black and then just pull that down a little bit, switch back to X. So what I like to do with arms is I like to give them form. So as you can see, the shape of the curve of the arm is down here. So what I will do then is I'll just kind of do a big stroke down there, and then I will burn, and I'll just kind of burn around that. Quite generally here, and you kind of get the form of the arm. And I'll do the same on the other arm as well. So the curve of the arm kind of goes from the shoulder down here, and if you look where the highlights are falling, you can see the highlight is always on the kind of the peak of the curve. So the curve of the arm would be kind of here. I don't think I need to do it on the bracelet. The bracelet's got enough already. And then it kind of goes down there. And then to accentuate that, I would then burn where the curve falls off. So kind of the top of the curve there on the arm. Down here. Across. We don't really need to see much of this arm here. Now looking at the rest of the body, you see he's got some ribs here. You can accentuate those ribs a little bit if you want. And down here is a bit of a curve. And then I will burn as well. And because we want the focus of the image to kind of stay up here, I'll just kind of burn some of the brighter aspects of this image down here, just so it doesn't take our eye away. So let's zoom out and let's just have a quick look at what we've done so far. So we've gone from that to that. So as you can see, this is kind of just a basic dodge and burn. You can darken the chest area a little bit as well. So let's go back to burn. Again, this is adjustable, so you kind of got this darker area in here and down there. So I don't think we need to dodge here because we've already got quite a strong highlight from the flash. So there you go. What you can do is, if you like a very strong effect, you can just select your dodge and burn group, press Ctrl J, and that will strengthen the effect even more. And then all you would have to do is just lower the opacity of that group. So say if you're going for something quite strong like here, like that, you zoom in. As you can see, in some areas where you did go overboard, it would be over the top. So what that you can do then as well is, again, it's very adjustable. You could go in if you wanted, press X to switch your brush to black, and then you can just paint where you've done it too strong, say on the mouth or the lip here. And then obviously if you wanted to add some colour in, you could just go in and let's have a look, add some blues into the blacks. Something like that. So that's without the dodge and burn, and that is with the dodge and burn. So again, it's up to you how far you want to take it. Some images it really works on, so very stylized commercial images use a lot of dodge and burn. If you want the cartoony painterly effects, use dodge and burn. If you're going for that kind of classic Rembrandt feeling, you can get some nice detail with the dodge and burn. So if I just switch back to my Lightroom, I'll just show you some of the other images that I created with dodge and burn on it. So this image here would have had dodge and burn on it. If we go down, another image of Shelley, all this has been dodged and burned. And this is a perfect example here of the painterly feel which you can achieve with dodge and burn. So you can see mixing dodge and burn with bright colours and bright lights gives a very kind of stylized, even it could be like Grand Theft Auto style of image. So again, it's up to you how far you push it, but yeah, I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I hope you apply the techniques, what you've learned today, to your own images, and I would love to see those images if you contact me on social media. I also write for F-Stoppers now, so be sure to check out my articles on there. I'm currently doing a Art of Composite Photography series, which is more theory based, but I hope you get some tricks and tips from that as well. So thanks a lot, guys. Peace.